Go.
So, yes, to answer your question before we went live, Chanel has been doing very, very well. People love it, the packaging front and center, eyes get drawn to it, and I describe the effects thusly. It feels like a warm towel in between the inside of your skull and the top of your brain. And when I say that, people go, oh, I'll take a second.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Andrea, we just got the Chanel descriptors going out, so we had our cards being printed this week, so all that stuff dropped off. So it's been pretty
fantastic, man. I can't wait to see what's the next. It's only, the 18th?
Yeah.
It's not that far away.
Not far. So only about 5 days, and we got 5 new strains dropping. So I think the team will be very excited to see what's coming down the pipeline.
I love it.
Might be coming early for packaging, just to get here on site. Might be here.
Maybe.
But we did at least drop off some new swag today.
I love the hat, man. Thank you very much. This is sweet.
Got the new swag, and we got some of the...
you see, I'm glad we need something for a middle-aged man, because the straight brim,
Us golfers of the world. As well.
And the golfers of the world, too. Yes. But if you want to make like a nice button-up
that would be
with the logo, I'm all about it.
It's got to be the dual, robust feel state, though.
Oh, I'd love that.
Like wallpaper.
Yes.
Just saying.
Okay.
Sound is good.
Sound is good? Fantastic.
Perfecto.
All right. How many viewers do we have? I know we got like 4 more minutes of chatting to do.
Sounds like we're another minute or so.
Another minute or so? Okay. I don't mind starting early. You
got some folks.
No, not at all.
Okay. Did you vitamin up like I asked you to?
I did not, because I am just getting everything to, I'm excruciating everything to the greenhouse. Like, it's a little warm right there, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweating it all out in the greenhouse?
Sweating it all out now, yeah. But there's been a lot of movement down there in Cuba, that's for sure.
How do you guys handle it? It's 102.
It's 102, but we have a nice little state-of-the-art greenhouse. So we have a lot of air movement taking place in all of our bays. Some little microclimates. Mm-hmm. So positive pressure between Brad and Andrea's leadership, they got it squared away. Pretty sweet. Yeah. So every day, though, they're batting the elements. It used to be humid, wet, in Missouri. We get all 4 seasons here. Mm-hmm. So our cultivation team is adapting daily. And it's first run in each one of these new grow seasons. But we have a lot of technology at the fingertips and a lot of experience that our team meets pretty much every challenge there.
Outstanding.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, what do you say we start the show, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, did I almost say gelatin? Ladies and gelatin, welcome to episode 10, season 2 of The Feels. I am your host, El Jefe, Jeff Rowse. I think I'm kind of liking that term, El Jefe. With me is the co-founder of Robust, co-founder of this dispensary right here, Mr. Tyler Hannegan. Tyler, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you. And I think it'd be remiss without saying how well Jeff has been doing. Second season now of The Feels, and he's been absolutely tremendous asset to our team, and it's been amazing watching him grow. So he's the man.
New cap. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, before we get to the interview, let's get to the news. All right, folks, we got some exciting stuff coming on. Robust Flower is officially dropping this Saturday, June 18th. Now, I can officially report that the Robust team is going to be on site from 11 to 5. They're going to be giving away swag, and they're going to be talking about all things Robust. Stay tuned to social media for more details. Now, there might be some of you out there with your med cards getting ready to expire. Maybe we helped you get your med card when we first opened up a year ago. Now that card is getting ready to expire. Visit myfeelstate.com and click on Become a Patient on the home screen and get a head start. If you have any problems, though, you can schedule an in-person or over-the-computer consultation if you need help. Now, let the pigeons loose, folks, because nighttime robots are going to be returning to the Florissant location this week. I know we haven't had them. Really sorry. Based on availability, we got a ton coming in. And finally, there are events taking place all over the Lou that you are going to start seeing Feel State at. Like this Thursday, it opened your eyes and ears peeled for more information about becoming a member of the Feel State Street Team. All right, Tyler.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man? Welcome.
Man, just drove in from Cuba, so went straight from there to here this morning.
Temperature is the same down there as we got up here?
It is hot.
It is hot.
It is not cold.
Hot in the city tonight. Little Billy Idol right there. All right, before you started Robust, You were working in the medical industry. In what capacity were you working?
Yeah, so I was a director of operations. I was on the administrative side of things. So really, I was kind of a glue guy in the organization, working between the care teams and the care providers. Also did a lot of mergers and acquisitions on that front. Started off as an intern there. Grew within 8 years to become a director, was there for the last 4 years. Got to serve on a multitude of different teams and departments, from primary care, pediatrics, all the way to adult specialties. So it was definitely an absolute blast. Love all my former colleagues who have been very supportive of my move. It's been exactly almost 1 year and a quarter, so about 1 and 3 months since I fully made the transition. And it's pretty unique in the fact that this is almost coming up on the 3-year anniversary of Brad and I working behind the scenes on this. So there's been a lot of supporters, a lot of team members since that have joined along, but really it's been Brad, myself, and our parents kind of helping us out from the very beginning. So it's really kind of a unique timing to be here in season 2, talking with you, but also all around the Field State anniversary and then the Robust launch.
So the inception was 3 years ago, while you were still working for the medical industry. What was the change? What made you say, I need to transition away, I need to go to cannabis?
Yeah, so it was, I look at it as kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I consider myself a little bit more entrepreneurial. Brad and myself met at Mizzou. We were fraternity brothers there, and we're roommates our senior year and best of friends. And I talked to him about an investment opportunity my father and I were approached with. And simply put, Brad said, we can do this ourselves. So famous last words, but from that day forward, I was quote unquote pot committed. So I like a challenge. I like it whenever people say you're not going to be able to do something, and then showing them tenfold that things will get done, but doing it the right way. I mean, we have a host of investors, we have a host of friends, we have a host of people that have been there every single step of the way. And it made the transition a lot easier, along with my wife. And of course, Brad and I both have loving wives that have been very patient with us for a while. And we also have some little ones and another one on the way for the Rhodes family. So no shortage of action anytime. It's like starting up 3 or 4 startups at once, simultaneously, with a lot of deadlines, a lot of compliance, a lot of emotion, a lot of new ventures in an industry where it hasn't been really touched yet in Missouri. So,
well, Field State is unique in that it is by Missourians, for Missourians, in a sea of multi-state operators. And I think that's one of the main reasons why people love coming to us, because we have that personal connection with our community that an outside ownership group really can't. They didn't grow up in the community. They don't have the touch.
I think that's really important. That was the whole reason from the very beginning. I am a firm believer of people, just like some people invest because Elon Musk is Elon Musk. I invested in Corey and David and Mitch and their vision instantaneously. Brad and I were committed to that. And the reason for that is because, I am a clinic operational expert, from the medical field. I'm not a cannabis owner dispensary operator. The 3 biggest intangibles that they brought with us was being able to control our inventory, helping us out with marketing, logistics, just kind of mapping it out from us for the very beginning while we could focus on the bigger goal, which was setting up Robust. Field State, their branding ideology came exactly how we want it to be. We've been known around the community and between at least my parents' friends and ours as the educators. We spend time, yourself, anyone else on the team that's been here for over a year without turnover. People are coming back. They're seeing the same face. They're seeing and hearing the same message. They keep hearing and seeing us grow, and it's just easy. It's easy working with Field State. It's easy being a patient here. We make the process enjoyable and educational all at the same time.
Well, okay. Well, Robust and Field State Florissant are the results of how many years of hard work? We already covered that. We knew this was a 3-year undertaking. But what people may not know is that Robust is vertically integrated. That means you own growing, manufacturing, transportation, and dispensary licenses. How do you keep the juggling act going?
I think it really goes back to the basic core essentials of good people are managed by good leaders. And good leaders know how to let people run free, Just like whenever you're stepping into something new, there's trust. In any relationship, it all comes down to one thing: communication. So as long as you're communicating, whatever entity or third party or compliance or state regulation or local municipality, everyone's on your team if you let them be. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting uphill. So I'm a big dividing and tackler. Brad and I always are kind of a yin and a yang. Brad comes with the heavy, big science approach. I come with a lot of the business, kind of the communications type styles. Brad and I together, I let Brad focus on what Brad needs to do. Brad lets me focus what I needed to do. On top of that, we also have the same agenda. So whenever we're talking and we want to have leadership changes, it's quick and easy. It's simplistic to put people in these specific areas, whether that's bringing on Andrew for cultivation, whether it's allowing you to do that. Thinking of this great avenue that we had to reach out to patients, having Nick, the king of North County, lead and be the general manager of our dispensary. Those things are in place because it's easy. We communicate. There's trust. Once you're brought into the family, people don't leave the family. And I think that that's true. We've had zero turnover here. Zero turnover down in Cuba.
Communication and follow-up are the key to any successful business, not just cannabis. Now, most of our viewers are familiar with our dispensary here. We've got lots of wonderful regular patients, but they may not be aware of the grow facility down in Cuba that Robust has going on. What can you tell me about that?
I can say that we've been creeping in the night for a while. We've been very quiet, waiting for this exact time to enter the marketplace. We are very proud of the flower that we're putting out there, and I think it's kind of truly embodies what we have at our facility that's allowing us to do that. I can put my name behind our flower, our brand, and any brand that is because of the communication styles. We are natural, we are organic, and we are sustainable. Those three things embody all of Robust. So what we've been working on down at Robust is out of a 74,000 square foot state-of-the-art positive pressure greenhouse. So we use living soil. We're blessed to also be certified kind and clean green. All certifications we've been working through and not mandated, but we wanted to. So we're the only certified kind facility in Missouri.
Why don't you get government certification?
So the reason is because some of the federal regulations around cannabis, you might have heard of them, but they can't call anything organic just yet. So there's large, heavy fines by claiming you're organic. The biggest thing is we have organic operations. So we won't claim that the product is 100% organic because we can't put that on the packaging. We do have sustainable organic processes that have been certified by a governing body of certified kind designation that has come out, that has notified all and seen all of our closed loop systems, that indeed turns to them and shows that we are
so
practicing,
this isn't just
operating organic.
Filling out a questionnaire. There's an actual team that comes down and does a physical inspection.
We're talking tissue samples, they're talking soil testing, water sampling, site visits. This is another visit on top of anything from a governing body that we chose to do because we wanted it.
Now, why go through all the trouble? Does it translate to better flower?
Well, if you go back to the whole basic root of, once again, our definition of why we got into this space, it was based off of Brad's vision along with his right-hand gal and probably one of the only female lead growers in the entire state of Missouri, Andrea Miller. And really, it was based solely on having good available medicine at an affordable price without cutting any corners. And I think that embodies Robust. So if you look at Robust from a literary sense, in the definition sense, it is of smell or of rich flavor or fragrance. So whenever you think about cannabis, Robust fits that narrative. It just so happens that Robust was one of my favorite words. For people that know me, I tend to say robust or majestic. And I have one person to thank for that. It was one of the presidents of the institution I used to work at would frequently say robust on many things. So I, Akeem, started using the word robust to all my friends. Whenever we're talking about the company name and the organic processes and how we're going to be using living soil and we're going to be operating out of a greenhouse, I actually, Brad was the one that was like, robust. And you look at the actual definition of it, and fate has certain ways of working within each other, and it's just another part of the story that just makes sense.
Let's talk a little bit about living soil. I've been down at the facility. I've helped make some of that stuff.
Jeff has been there. Jeff has been there in his handmade pots with me.
And the living soil comes in these big bags that you have to shovel out X amount at a time. There's a proprietary method to making this soil, but it's what goes into every single pot that the plants go into. Why organic soil? Why not rock wool or hydroponics or some other growing method?
So I can speak on two fronts. One is the front that I'd say to, and I will speak from some of my roots here by saying, how would you prefer your meat to be made? Some people would say they're comfortable with having meat from a lab, or some people are more comfortable with having meat from a pasture. I'd rather have meat from a pasture versus in a lab. Layman's terms. But I think also from a business sense, it makes it's more in like upfront investment in that regard. But if you look at the sustainability elements to us, a lot of people don't understand that the rock wool, just fills up the landfills, all the containers, all of those things. You're constantly reordering, maybe 4 or 5 times a year, scaling that to 30,000 square feet though. There's a connotation with cannabis, obviously, that, you are a little bit renewable. You are a little bit green forward. And so what better way than to actually obtain certified kind certifications, clean green certifications that embodies the true narrative of the industry of what it should be, communicate that, share it with others, and then kind of ask that question like, how is your cannabis grown? That's not something that is typically asked. It's kind of more so like, oh my gosh, you grow organically in a greenhouse? Like, are you crazy? And that's more so what we have. You don't use fertigation lines. Your cultivation team actually go out and hand water each plant? Yeah, we do. And I think it's directly correlated back to the passions. We want to make sure that I, Brad, anyone a part of our team can put our name behind our products. If we can't do that, what's the point of having the brand? So this way, there's only ways, and it's only clean cut. So whenever people want tours, they get tours. Whenever people want to see what's going on, we let them know what's going on. If you can try to replicate it, that's fine. But just because you have the blueprint doesn't mean you necessarily have the right recipe or the team behind it.
Gotcha. So far, we've had Chanel 5 in the house. That means you've cropped out at least once. How many times, though, have you actually cropped out?
So, meaning harvest?
Yes.
So right now, our first harvest we've ever had was Chanel. And what we've done is we've had quite a few visitors to the site, potential buyers, things of that nature, that have seen some of our A buds versus B buds. We've been very selective in terms of what we wanted to hit the market with. We've been blessed that on our first harvest with the Chanel 5, we were ranging from 18 to 20% on our testing, but we're coming back with consistently 3% terps. So that's a little bit more the byproduct of what we want to continue to do. I think that what we're going to see next up with what's coming down the line is only going to get continually better and better. And not to shy away from your question, but right now I would say that we're at our 3rd to 4th harvest. We're perpetually harvesting now. So whenever one room's coming down, another room's coming down right behind it. We've had some material that we thought was better, situated for material to be processed, because once again, we want to make sure that the strains, we've also focused on getting strains and genetics that be coming through to show what Missouri is all about, being grown here for here. And we've used that by some of our breeders that we've used very early on. But I think it's one of those biggest things that, we are coming at it from a true quality perspective. So I'd say about 75% of our crop is used from top A buds. So we're going to see the fruits of those labors coming out here very soon.
So Robust is going to be putting out buds. What other products can we expect from Robust?
Yeah, so we're going to be able to suspect that Mitch and Lance have they have a strong desire on the solventless lab portion. So we're going to have a lot of unique craft portions coming out through that. We're also going to be entering the markets, as everyone would think, with pre-rolls, obviously. It's important that we're kind of going this route. We obviously have oils and other things that are coming down, vape cartridges, things of that nature. But our focus always has and will continue to be about the flower that we produce. unequivocally, 100%, we want to be known as the most flavorful, the most aromatic. We want to make sure that people are proud to have Robust, and we're proud to give it to them. But I think that our next product line that we're going to be coming out, it sounds silly, but it's pre-rolls. And the reason is because there's a lot of short-changing ways to have pre-rolls in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. We want ours to be robust. So
how can you shortchange a pre-roll?
Just in different trims or in different SOPs in terms of how you're actually filling the pre-rolls, different blends, different grinding techniques, using shake, using B buds versus A buds, using trim. There's multiple different ways.
And Robust is going to be B bud, A bud?
We're going to be using a lot of good blends. We're going to be experimenting with a lot of proprietary stuff that we'll have. So yeah, we're gonna be messing around with a lot of good stuff. Nice. But the biggest thing is we wouldn't put out a product that we ourselves wouldn't be proud. And the best part is we also have the best critics here at Field State that will let us know, certainly, as they've gone and garnered their own education, that if they're not going to enjoy something or they're not going to like that product, they will let us know how we need to right size it. But we have a steadfast team down there between Mitch and Lance on the post-harvest side, Brad also dabbling on the post-harvest side, that, unequivocally, those guys won't put their names behind anything that they wouldn't have themselves.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I'm going to turn to the cameras really quick. And Nick, do we have any questions that people have asked so far we could potentially answer?
Yes, we have one question, and that was...
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, somebody knows a couple comments. They said Robust. Chanel number 5 was amazing.
Nice.
No direct questions, though, other than why the name Chanel number 5.
So there are certain genetics that come out that are named and some that are crosses that are unnamed. That specific breeder had that name. He's also, and we're proud to say, from Missouri, which is pretty cool. So it kind of speaks once again to our brand and our direction whenever we're talking about how we want to make sure that we're highlighting what Robust is. And we are all from Missouri, so our leadership team, you talked a lot about MSOs and things of that nature. That doesn't scare me or shouldn't intimidate anyone, as long as you are being true to yourself and true to your community. I've been engaged with the community ever since I was little. My family gave me kind of that direction. My grandparents gave them that direction. I've always been a part of that. So is Brad, every step of the way. So,
do you sort of take a David versus Goliath approach then?
I think it's more so I get questions about people saying like, I could have done that. Or, it was too hard to get a license, or it's too hard to get capital, or it's too hard to do that. And I'm just like, did you even try? It's not like, I had the force, it's not like I knew how to work with physicians or medical teams going into Mercy. You have to adapt, you have to learn, you have to understand. I did my undergraduate studies in business. I went and got my MBA after my postgraduate studies, but I didn't study directly to work in a healthcare system. It was an opportunity that I saw fit. I love helping people. I love working with teams. Cannabis, same exact way. I can help a lot of people. I can create even bigger teams. So that's the way I look at it.
All right. Okay, we've covered an awful lot. I think the last question I'm going to ask, what kind of inventory, IPM, do you have in place?
So,
okay. I'm trying to remember what it was from Slew. Stacy's going to be mad at me that I can't remember this, but it was to protect the plants from the pests, you have to have a plan in place. Growing in a hybrid greenhouse, which does have access to outdoor air from time to time coming in, how do you protect the plants from outside environment? Yeah,
so part of our certifications, and part of the water treatment plans where we operate are very strict on fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, anything of that nature being used is an adherent no. So we do not use those things. We do use natural compounds that actually will kind of let us know what is. We actually use predatory insects as well.
Like ladybugs?
There's multiple different types of different mites, beneficials that you can add to the soil. We have worms in our living soil, true worms. But Andrea will frequently be seen around the facility with her essential oils, actually attracting bugs or anything of that nature to her, so she can actually get a first-hand look as to what's going on in the facility.
She puts essential oils on her clothing, walks around the building, and waits for insects to come, just so she can see what's going on.
Now, the best part is there's not many that actually come there, but, you know, she is, like, ready. So she's been an organic farmer for 20 years, so not just in the cannabis world, but in organic farming as a whole. Between her, you know, pre-med nature, Brad's pre-med nature, their scientific understanding, the incredible people that are first-time cultivators, you know, in the state of Missouri that they brought on has been amazing. We have one gentleman that grew up in Missouri, moved to Colorado, moved back. Everyone else, though, for the most part, has come from Missouri that started their cultivation journey with us, which is absolutely amazing. So their education and their protocols are able to be, you know, disseminated to this new team with new understanding, just over communicating on what we're doing, why we're doing this, etc. It's really crazy. Also, with some of the protocols we have in place, our positive pressure greenhouse, you would think that there's a lot of ancillary cracks or openings. The way that the air is actually positioned, so we use MERV 13 filtration through our lean-tos. So as those chassis open up, fresh air is brought in through filtered air systems. We have a wall coolant system that then goes to the plant level, and then that is actually brought in at the base root of the plant to keep a cooling mechanism in place.
So those were those big, long columns that we walked through when I took the tour.
Absolutely. And then so our system was designed by Wadsworth. So whenever we have a vent rich fan open, it's pulling that air back out, cycling it through, escaping the facility, because that's also not allowing insects to fly in. Mm-hmm. So as that pressure is kind of working towards it, it kind of works like that.
I would love to see like a computer-generated version of that working.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Those science guys, they'll get you every time.
Yes, they will. All right.
I have one last question.
One last question. Talk to me.
Are you guys going to be using fusilli noodles for your pre-rolls like 710 Labs in Cali, a.k.a. pasta noodle tips, spiral pastas?
Oh, the spiral pastas. So there is a lot of regulation right now in the medical market in terms of, if I'm reading between the lines here, big fan of 710 Labs, by the way. But essentially, like, there's different ways that you can create pre-rolls in other markets by adding additional concentrates or TCAs, you know, some fills, some donuts, as you'd call it. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, we can't do those things. Now, if we're talking about true, like, mouthpieces just yet, you need to talk to Mitch Green about that and put that in there for a request. But really what we're going to be doing is coming out with half grams, and we're going to be doing 2 per tube. I mean, sending those out. So that way, I'm a firm believer that flour is best used by the patient whenever it's fresh.
Yes.
Whenever you start going into a 1 gram, you're starting to really kind of lose your appetite as you go through that, even if you're sharing things of that nature. And especially if they don't have the right, you know, breakup or breakdown in terms of their processes in there, you're going to be left with a lot of runniness, you're going to be left with a lot of stickiness, a lot of tarness. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that we alleviate all those things right now. Glass tips, definitely a perk. But once some more changes occur here, I think it could be seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of The Fields. Tyler, thank you so much for being on here. Next week, we are going to have M. Blue. He is co-owner of Hustle City. They're also going to be making some of our fresh, new, robust, and feel state swag that we're going to have going on. So you're going to be wanting to check out social media for that. Thank you all so much for checking in, and we'll see you next week.